Perhaps your biggest power is hidden inside you. The question is, will you find it before life forces you to? Ethan grew up in a small town in the Midwest where winters were cold, summers were dry, and opportunities were scarce. His father worked at a local factory, often coming home with sore hands and tired eyes. His mother cleaned offices at night just to keep food on the table. Still, even with both parents working so hard, bills piled up, and sometimes dinner was nothing more than bread and soup. Ethan noticed something about his mom. She would always serve him and his little sister first, smiling as if her own hunger didn't matter. That image carved itself into Ethan's heart. One evening, his father sat him down and said, "Son, poverty isn't a curse, it's a challenge. But whether you win or lose depends on your courage." Those words stayed with him like an echo that never faded. At school, Ethan faced ridicule. His sneakers had holes, his backpack was old, and while other kids had the latest gadgets, he carried second-hand textbooks. Teachers didn't expect much from him, and some kids told him he'd never amount to anything. But Ethan made a choice. Instead of letting their voices define him, he decided to prove them wrong silently. After school, while others hung out at the mall or played video games, Ethan would sit in his small room, studying under the weak light of a worn-out lamp. His desk was scratched, his notes messy, but his determination burned brighter than any light bulb. By high school, Ethan had to work part-time to help his family. He flipped burgers at a fast food joint and swept floors at the grocery store. Many nights, he'd drag himself home after midnight, exhausted, smelling of grease, but still open his books to study. His hands would ache, his eyelids heavy, but the thought of his mother skipping meals kept him awake. He whispered to himself, "This pain is temporary. My dream is forever." When Ethan finally earned a scholarship to a university in the city, it felt like a miracle. But the city wasn't kind. Here, nobody knew his story. To survive, he worked nights at a coffee shop, pouring lattes for students who seemed to have everything handed to them. There were nights when he envied them nice cars, expensive clothes, parents who paid their tuition. Once, standing in the rain waiting for the bus after a long shift, Ethan almost broke down. Why is life so unfair? He thought. But then, like a voice in his head, his father's words returned. Poverty is a challenge. That reminder fueled him. Ethan started spending extra hours in the library. He watched free lectures online, studied harder than ever, and refused to let exhaustion win. Slowly, his professors noticed him. He became the student who sat in the front row, always asking questions, always staying late, too. His reputation grew, and opportunities started to open. The ultimate test came with the national exams. That determined scholarships and career paths. If Ethan failed, years of sacrifice would be wasted. The night before the exam, he sat in his tiny dorm room, palms sweating, heart racing. He closed his eyes and whispered, "God, I've given everything. Now give me courage." That night, he didn't just study facts. He reminded himself that the real exam was life itself, and he had already survived storms most people couldn't imagine. Months later, the results were announced. Ethan's name was at the very top. The boy who once worked late shifts to survive was now the recipient of full scholarships and career offers. For the first time, his parents smiled without worry. Mom wept tears of joy as she hugged him, and his dad's voice cracked when he said, "You didn't just pass the test, son, you changed our destiny." But Ethan knew his journey wasn't only about lifting his own family. As he walked through his hometown streets, seeing kids still running barefoot, he realized his story carried a responsibility. He began speaking at schools, sharing his struggles, and later helped fund educational programs for children who couldn't afford resources. The lesson from Ethan's story is clear: circumstances do not define you. Your determination does. Life will hit you with struggles, loneliness, and doubt. But if you choose to keep going, to not quit, you can rewrite your story forever. So, the next time life tells you you can't, remember Ethan. Remember that your true power is waiting inside you. All you need is the courage to keep moving forward. And before you leave, don't forget subscribe to Motivoons, where stories remind you that no dream is too big when you refuse to give up.